why we have GXBolt 963. Just my love and fascination towards speed and athletic prowess. Just growing up as a kid, I just really and truly loved to see somebody in open field and all the limbs and just the entire body moving and points and angles and, rate of force production, stride length, frequency, hip flexors, quads, glutes, calves, form, all of that stuff. I really was intrigued early on as a kid, maybe 3-4 years old. I remember watching the Olympics early on, at least the World Championships, and just really being intrigued with Evelyn Ashford and all of those guys. And as I grew up and I got older, I started playing football, and then I got into high school, and there I had a real chance to be around somebody who was fast. And this guy was all-state and all-American, and I would just run my brains out as fast as I could to try to get as close to him as I possibly could so I could analyze his breathing patterns and his form, his angles and points and knee drive and knee lift and his elbows and his arms and all of that. And so I learned early on, what speed was, and I became more intrigued with it. And weights were, I lifted weights, and that was good. But for me personally, speed was the end all be all. It's like money. You can never have enough of it, and everybody wants it. And so in sports, that's what it is. And so I went on to college and, to ULM, and I'm a two-sport athlete. I played football and ran track. And after my career was over with, I started training and coaching athletes, and just understanding the science never left. I understood rate of force production. I understood stride length and frequency, hip flexors, quads, glutes, calves, core, arms, bis, tris, shoulders, pecs. I understood the anatomy of it. And so as a coach, I started off with an indoor football academy, and as we started to consume more and more athletes, the need for speed started to become more and more. And being a collegiate sprinter myself, I knew what it took to really and truly develop speed, and it wasn't something that you could do overnight. It was, through countless of hours. Anyone can improve speed. It's your potential. That's the question. But anybody can improve speed, and so just looking at the internet and seeing what was out there, and we ordered different stuff, and things were big and bulky, and we had traditional sleds. Things, limiting connections, range, and distance, but not outside of the science. But then understanding speed in itself, there are multiple phases that has to be addressed, and no coach or no athlete wants to be the quickest. But then when, especially in football, when you get an athlete in open field, or you're trying to have a receiver take the top off of a defense and really stretch the field, you can't do that with 4.8s and 4.9s. Like you can't do that, or running backs losing scholarships because they're quick. They can get to the linebackers quicker than the eye can see, but as soon as they get past that, here comes the secondary, here come the wolves, and they walk them down. And so you get a lot of kids that lose scholarships. And so understanding the first step, quickness, then the drive phase, acceleration, and then muscles being able to transition from phase to phase, maximum velocity and deceleration and form and stuff like that. I wanted to have a device where I could do everything, where I could develop all of that and basically develop the total athlete when it comes to speed, quickness, and agility. You have the fastest first step, but you also have, the fastest 60 meters, or you decelerate a lot slower than everybody else, or you pick up speed, the entire 40. And so it was understanding that and just sticking to the core principles, the science, laws, and foundation. And GXBolt 963 came about. And so since that time, as a coach myself, as a trainer myself, my athletes there was no competition. These guys would go to state and come out of nowhere, and people would ask questions, and this is what we're doing. And since then, there are countless of other kids across the country that are winning state, going to state for the first time, or making it out of conference or district, running PRs left and right. And GXBolt just gave my athletes a distinct and competitive edge from first step quickness, drive, acceleration, speed, endurance, you name it. Like there was no competition. And you know, trainers are crafty. You know, these guys are very creative, and their workouts are legendary and monstrous. But against the athletes that were training on GXBolt, there was no competition at all. And so since then, I mean, it's just been athletes left and right. And so just sticking to the science behind just sticking to the science behind speed and everything that goes along with it and the application, we were able to do a lot of great things. At least my athletes were able to do a lot of great things with the product. And you know, they've been extremely accomplished and extremely happy. And that's how I developed GXBolt 963.